On July 17, 2025, a single event in Gaza reverberated far beyond the city's battered streets, echoing through the corridors of power in Rome, Jerusalem, and capitals around the world. On that day, the Holy Family Catholic Church, Gaza's only Catholic place of worship and a centuries-old sanctuary for the faithful, was struck by Israeli military fire. The church, flying the unmistakable white and yellow of the Vatican flag, stood not as a military outpost, but as a haven. Over 500 civilians, both Muslim and Christian, huddled within its walls, seeking safety from relentless bombardment outside. The attack was swift and shattering. Shells tore through the sanctuary, killing 3 civilians, among them elderly women, the church's janitor, and wounding Father Gabriel Romanelli, the parish priest renowned for his tireless service and close relationship with the Vatican. In the aftermath, survivors described chaos and terror, prayers interrupted by explosions, cries for help as dust and debris settled upon sacred icons and pews. In the words of one witness, "We thought the church would protect us. We thought it would be respected." The Israeli Defense Forces acknowledged the strike, attributing it to stray ammunition, and expressing official regret for the loss of innocent life. But for many, this explanation rang hollow. For a military known for its advanced surveillance, precision-guided munitions, and AI-powered targeting systems, the notion of a mistaken hit on a clearly marked Vatican-affiliated church, in a city mapped in intimate detail by drones and satellites, was difficult to accept. International observers and local residents alike questioned how stray ammunition could repeatedly strike a compound so visibly designated as a place of worship and refuge. The Vatican's response was swift and unequivocal. Pope Leo XIV, speaking from St. Peter's Square, denounced the attack as a crime against humanity and faith. His words echoed across the Catholic world, carried in urgent bulletins and somber broadcasts. The Pope called for an immediate ceasefire, urging leaders of all faiths and nations to demand protection for the innocent and for the sanctity of religious sites. No war can justify the desecration of what is holy to any people, he declared. Yet the Vatican's moral authority was met with little more than diplomatic regret from Jerusalem, and the world's most powerful governments, while expressing concern, stopped short of imposing consequences. International outrage soon followed. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni condemned the strike in the strongest terms, calling the attack on civilians unacceptable. The United Nations Alliance of Civilizations issued a statement emphasizing the inviolability of religious sites and called for the protection of worshippers. Yet, beyond words, concrete action was scarce. This strike was not an isolated incident. Instead, it joined a grim catalog of attacks on religious and civilian sites in Gaza. In October 2023, the ancient church of St. Porphyrius, Gaza's oldest Christian sanctuary, was bombed, killing at least 18, including several children. The destruction extended to the heart of the Muslim community as well. Reports indicate that since the conflict's escalation, nearly 4 out of 5 mosques in Gaza have been destroyed. Hospitals, schools, and refugee centers have also been struck, their status as protected spaces repeatedly violated. Such a pattern raises alarming questions. Is this merely the tragic chaos of war, or is it evidence of a systematic disregard for the principle of religious neutrality in conflict? For centuries, churches, mosques, temples, and synagogues have been considered sanctuaries, sites of refuge even in the darkest times. Their symbols and flags were meant to shield the vulnerable, to remind combatants that some places, some ideas, were sacred, above the violent fray. But in Gaza, that ancient covenant seems to have been broken. With each attack on a sacred space, the line between combatant and civilian, between battlefield and sanctuary, is blurred. The deliberate or reckless targeting of religious sites sends a chilling message. No institution is sacred, not even Rome. In the eyes of many, this is more than collateral damage. It is the institutionalization of war, where even faith and refuge become expendable. For the families taking shelter in the Holy Family Church, the strike was more than a military action. It was a rupture of trust. For the global Catholic community, it was a wound to the soul. And for the world, it was a test. Will we uphold the principle that some places are off-limits, or will we allow the logic of war to consume even the last sanctuaries of hope? As the dust settled over the shattered church, the Vatican's condemnation was joined by voices from every continent. Yet the response from Israel remained muted. Regret was expressed, but accountability was elusive. No independent investigation was announced, no reparations offered, no international sanctions imposed. The survivors grieved, and the world watched, uncertain, perhaps unwilling, to act. This incident in Gaza is not just a local tragedy or a footnote in the ongoing conflict. It is a warning. When the symbols of faith, crosses, crescents, stars, are no longer respected as shields. When places of worship become targets, the very idea of sanctuary is at risk. And when the world's most ancient institutions, with all their authority and history, cannot protect their own, it signals a grim new era where war knows no boundaries and nothing is truly sacred. In the days that followed, Father Gabriel Romanelli, wounded but alive, spoke to his congregation and to the world. He pleaded for peace, for the protection of the vulnerable, for respect for all that is holy. His words were a reminder that, even in the midst of devastation, faith endures. But faith alone cannot shield the innocent. Only action, accountability, and a renewed commitment to the laws of war and the sanctity of life can ensure that what happened in Gaza is never repeated. As headlines fade and the world's attention moves on, the memory of the Holy Family Church lingers, a symbol of both tragedy and resilience. It challenges us to ask, what are we willing to protect? And what will we do when the sacred is no longer safe? As the situation in Gaza intensifies, with recent attacks on sanctuaries like the Holy Family Church and mounting civilian casualties, the world is watching closely. Many are questioning the actions taken by Israel and the leadership of Prime Minister Netanyahu, whose decisions have fueled further violence and deepened the humanitarian crisis. We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let your voice be heard. Stand up for justice, condemn aggression, and demand real accountability for these actions.